Last episode, we learned ridiculous for when we're really angry. But what if we're not very angry? What if we're just a little angry? What if we're just miffed? Let's learn how to talk about that in today's episode of So Humiliated, episode 5.
I've never been so humiliated in my entire life.
Come on, Allie. It wasn't that bad.
Not that bad? Not that bad? You're kidding.
At least Jeremy wasn't there.
At this point, I wish all I had to worry about was being embarrassed in front of Jeremy. Instead, I'm stuck with this disaster.
Okay. So you spilled a little juice on the company's CEO.
A little? I dumped an entire glass full on Jordan. Twice! What kind of blockhead does that?
You're not a blockhead. You were just frazzled. It happens to the best of us. It was an honest mistake.
No, doing something stupid once is a mistake. But twice, Brielle? Ugh, that's ridiculous. I will never live this down.
Not true. People are like goldfish. They've got a memory of like 2 seconds. Before you know it, the whole thing will blow over.
I'm not so sure. Our supervisor's face turned into a tomato when he saw what I'd done. He looked like he was ready to bite my head off.
Mr. Donovan was pretty miffed. But Jordan himself was laughing. He seemed to take it pretty well.
That's because when you're the CEO, you can't lose your cool, especially in front of your subordinates. I, on the other hand, am barely keeping it together.
You know what's perfect for a time like this? A little pick-me-up slushy lemonade. What do you say?
Sure. I could use some brain freeze to help me forget tonight.
Okay, lovely flyers, we are on the home stretch, which means we're on the last leg, which means we're almost done with the story. It's the final part. Are you excited? I'm excited. And make sure to stay tuned to the end of this video where you'll get your daily practice plan that'll make sure you get these words off the screen and into your head. All right, over to you, Past Sneaky. And then Brielle says, Mr. Donovan was pretty miffed, but Jordan himself was laughing. He seemed to take it pretty well. Miffed is another way to say angry, but it's like light anger. It's not super angry. It's just like light anger. So pretty miffed is a little bit angry. Again, Brielle is trying to downplay the situation. She is trying to make things seem less bad. So she doesn't say, oh, he was like ready to bite her head off. He's like, no, he was pretty miffed. And then she says, but Jordan himself was laughing. He seemed to take it pretty well. To take something well means you react well. You respond well. So I can take news well. So she took the news about losing her job pretty well. It means she was calm. She wasn't angry. She wasn't sad. She was relaxed. She took it well. Or he took the news about not being able to go on his trip pretty well. He took the news well. So he wasn't upset. He was calm. And then Allie says, that's because when you're the CEO, you can't lose your cool, especially not in front of your subordinates. I, on the other hand, am barely keeping it together. Okay. So we have lose your cool. So lose your cool means to get angry. You lose your temper. That's another way to say it. Lose your temper means you are, right? So you're getting angry, and then you explode. You get angry. You lose your cool. You lose it. Subordinates here means people who work under you. So subordinates can mean he's the boss, and then that would mean his employees, right? The people he hired to work for him, his subordinates. So you can have subordinates even if you're not the boss who hired people. So a supervisor has subordinates. A manager has subordinates. And then she says, I, on the other hand, am barely keeping it together. Keeping it together means to control your emotions. So if you can control your emotions, it means you're keeping your emotions in place. You're not letting them go, right? You're not losing your cool. You're keeping it together. She is not. She says, I am barely keeping it together. Meaning she's keeping it together, but kind of. Well, I'd say she's not keeping it together, but she thinks she is a little bit. I guess she could be crazier, right? She could be crazier. Then Brielle is trying one last thing to help her friend feel better. And she says, you know what is perfect for a time like this? A little pick-me-up slushy lemonade. What do you say? So a pick-me-up. Pick-me-up is used to say something that makes you feel better. It can give you energy. It can make you more ready to do something, right? So we can say, I had to get a little pick-me-up coffee at lunch today. I was falling asleep in my chair, or something like that, right? We usually use it with food or drinks, things we consume. I can't really think of, I wouldn't really say something like, let's watch a pick-me-up movie. It doesn't really work. We don't really use it with like things other than like things you consume. So I'm going to have a pick-me-up coffee, or let me get you a pick-me-up lemonade or whatever. Slushy lemonade. So it's not just lemonade with ice, but it's slushy ice. So the best way to show you is to show you this image of a slushy drink, right? It's just like, it's ice, but it's really crushed ice, not big chunks of ice. So slushy lemonade. Have you ever had a slushy lemonade? I think it's all right. It's not that great. I prefer regular lemonade, like lemonade and ice. That's my jam. But in any case, you know, drinks and food are kind of a way people try to help each other feel better, right? I don't think that's just Americans. I think that's around the world. We help ourselves feel better with food. And then Allie finally resigns herself. She gives in and is like, you know what, fine. She's like, sure, I could use some brain freeze to help me forget tonight. Our last thing we're going to talk about here, brain freeze. That's so fun. And by fun, I mean terrible. It's not fun. Don't want brain freeze. Brain freeze is when you drink something cold and you get a pain in your head from like drinking it too fast, drinking something cold too fast. So I don't get brain freeze. If anything freezes, like maybe my teeth will get like really cold and sensitive, or my chest will get a little tight, but I don't really get brain freeze. My dad gets bad brain freeze, but he still loves to drink things too fast. Like he drinks his cold drinks way too fast and gets brain freeze. What about you? Do you get brain freeze? I want to know in the comments. Leave it below. Wow, guys, that's it. That's the story. If you made it through all the episodes of this story, I want to know. Leave it in the comments. Let me see how amazing you are. And I didn't forget your practice work. Here are your words and your topics. Remember, you're going to make one story every day using all the words on one topic. Share your favorite story with me, please. I really want to see what you come up with. And I can give you corrections if you want to. But we're going to call it here, my loves. The story is over, but the learning never stops. I'll see you in the next lesson. I'll see you in the skies. Bye.